Welcome. Today we're jumping straight into a really interesting, maybe even controversial topic. We're looking at the effects people report when they voluntarily restrain from sexual activity.
Right.
Our mission here is pretty simple.
Right.
Get straight to the core ideas, the potential changes people talk about body and mind without getting bogged down. Just the key takeaways for you.
Yeah, and what's kind of striking is how interconnected it all seems to be in these descriptions.
Exactly.
It's not just one isolated thing. The ideas suggest impacts on, well, your physical self, your energy, how you think, maybe even relationships.
Okay, let's start with the physical side then. One thing that comes up a lot is this idea about sperm regeneration.
The basic concept that avoiding ejaculation gives the body a chance to rebuild, I suppose.
Yeah, and following on from that, some sources suggest this can actually change your appearance, make you seem more, well, masculine.
Right, less of the quote-unquote softer traits is how it's sometimes put.
And maybe even seem more attractive overall, possibly because of, increased vitality or looking younger.
It taps into this underlying idea of conservation, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the thinking seems to be if you hold on to something the body produces, you retain a kind of valuable resource.
Okay.
And that retention, supposedly, shows up physically.
And it goes deeper than just appearance. Some descriptions paint retained semen as, super nourishing.
Almost like a vital fluid.
Yeah, I mean, listen to this description. Food for your bones, food for your brain, oil for your joints, even making your breath sweeter.
Wow. Okay, that's quite poetic, actually.
And there's more. It's even suggested that semen contains the most precious atoms of the blood. It really elevates it, you know?
It does. It frames it as something intrinsically valuable. So keeping it inside, logically, within that framework, would benefit the whole system, not just one part.
Which leads to the next point.
Yeah.
This preservation is said to help develop the brain, the body, and the mind better.
Right. The claims get pretty significant.
Oh, yeah. Some say people who practice this become strong, intelligent, scholarly, even heroic and powerful.
Those are big claims. It makes you wonder, okay, how is that supposed to happen?
Well, they do try to connect the dots. For instance, there's a suggested link between holding onto semen and having more phosphorus in the brain.
Phosphorus, right. I've seen that mentioned.
The idea, apparently, is that phosphorus works with oxygen and thyroid hormones
Okay.
to create electrical activity in the brain. So the logic is more phosphorus equals more electricity equals more brain power.
So a direct biochemical link is being proposed there. Interesting.
And that connects to another major claim.
Yeah.
Increased testosterone.
Ah, yes. That comes up a lot.
And testosterone is linked to mood, motivation, maybe some cognitive stuff too, right?
It certainly is. So the implication is clear. Practice this, boost testosterone, and you'll see positive changes in those mental and emotional areas.
There's also this analogy they use sometimes. That semen exists in a subtle form all through the body. Kind of like how butter is spread throughout milk before you churn it.
Right. I think I know the one you mean.
So releasing semen is like taking the butter out, leaving the body, the milk, less rich, maybe weaker.
It's a way to visualize this idea of a widespread, fundamental energy or substance.
Yeah, that it's not just about the physical act, but about potentially depleting something vital that's everywhere inside you.
Which leads to calling it things like the real vitality in man.
Or a hidden treasure, something that gives you charisma and mental strength.
And you mentioned ancient wisdom, too.
Yeah, there are references suggesting that, people who followed these ideas way back, especially during their education, became radiant, quick-witted, respected.
So it suggests these aren't brand new concepts. They've been around echoing those same themes of vitality and mental sharpness.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about the energetic or mental side of things?
Yeah, there are some powerful analogies there, too.
Like the one about sunlight through a magnifying glass.
Exactly. The idea is that celibacy or restraint focuses your mental energy. That lens focuses light.
Leading to clarity, inner peace, even when things are tough.
That's the suggestion, that by conserving this energy, you can direct it, intensify it, resulting in, mental sharpness and more emotional stability.
It's also claimed it helps you find balance, dealing with life's ups and downs, pleasure, pain, winning, losing.
Which points towards better emotional self-regulation, perhaps.
How do you mean?
Well, if you believe you're building up this internal reserve, it makes sense you might feel more capable of handling emotional swings, less tossed around by them.
And that links to confidence too, doesn't it? They say it boosts self-confidence.
Lets you hear your inner voice more clearly.
And fosters this belief that, like, anything is possible.
Right.
Which then, supposedly, helps you learn more, achieve more, contribute more to society.
You see that connection being drawn. Internal discipline leading to external effectiveness. Like mastering this one personal area ripples outwards.
There's also this really fascinating idea about sublimated sex energy.
Sublimation.
The claim is that this conserved energy is actually the foundation for creative thought, for big ideas. They even link it to, great historical figures and their achievements.
It's a powerful concept channeling a fundamental drive into something else, something creative or intellectual. You see that idea in different philosophical traditions too.
And consistently practicing this, it's claimed, turns you into an energy storehouse.
Meaning
you feel less tired, less drained, especially when you're like working hard or helping others.
Which fits with the earlier vitality points, right? If you have this conserved energy, it makes sense it would fuel not just you, but your ability to act in the world. More resilience.
The benefits are also said to include better emotional control, like managing irritability, anger, mental tension.
Leading to greater endurance overall.
Yeah. And apparently at some advanced stage, your mental state isn't easily swayed by, shallow feelings or negative thoughts.
Suggesting a kind of progression toward greater emotional mastery and mental calm, less reactivity.
One last point that came up relating to relationships.
Okay.
The idea that even a temporary period of abstinence, say 30 days, 90 days, might actually deepen the emotional connection between partners.
That's interesting. The implication being maybe that stepping back from the purely physical for a bit allows other aspects of the communication, emotional intimacy to strengthen.
Could be. It's an intriguing thought.
Definitely adds another layer to consider.
So wrapping this up, we've touched on quite a range of potential effects linked to this practice of voluntary sexual restraint.
Yeah, a whole spectrum, really.
It connects physical vitality, mental sharpness, maybe even emotional balance in relationships.
What stands out is how holistic these claims are. It's presented as conserving this one biological thing, having these really far-reaching positive effects. Appearance, energy, brain power, emotions.
It's definitely a perspective that might surprise some people. It presents a very different view of sexual energy.
It absolutely does.
And reflecting on all this, it kind of leaves you with a final thought to chew on, doesn't it?
Which is?
Just generally, what is the relationship between focusing our energy intentionally in any area and other parts of our well-being? How might that conscious focus impact us?
Definitely something to ponder.